You gotta blame the parents too, bro. You should be at least equipping them to know don't mess with these children, because once they're in, it's impossible to get out, man.
I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack.
Gen Z killed street culture with logic. Video by TyBuggy podcast. Okay, this is interesting. Never heard of him before. Has over 70,000 subscribers. We love to see it. Always do, bro. Always do, bro. Let's get into this, bro.
Gen Z has broken the street culture curse, and they need credit. When it's time to dogpile on people, we gonna do that. But when it's time to congratulate, we need to be just as loud. There are significantly less gang members in Gen Z. Significantly less street dudes. And I'm proud of y'all for that. I really am. Because we needed a generation to completely reject that entire way of thought. Because doing the opposite has broken families and created generational traumas for everybody involved. Gen Z is the generation that across the board has decided it doesn't even make sense to sacrifice your life for people who tell you that your life is worth nothing.
I can't say that's true in London. I'm not gonna lie to you. In London, poor is poor, bro. Gang members come from poor. And I can't say that Gen Z has made it to where there's less gang members. I mean, yes, on the internet, yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. But music, hey, people still listen to gang member music. People still listen to drill. People still listen to, you know what I'm saying, American drill. So it's not as if it's demonized or anything. I'd say it's a thing where, well, obviously it is demonized when you come to YouTube. Yeah. Twitch, yeah. Definitely demonized. But in terms of if you go to the right areas, are there still a lot of gang members? Yes. I'd even argue there's even more gang members today than there was back then, bro. It's just they're not as crazy, I guess. I don't know, man. I can't say for sure that there's less gang members out there, because to me it looks like nothing's changed, in my opinion. And the reason why nothing's changed is because poor people are still getting poorer. Rich people are still taking from the poor and the middle class and taking it for themselves. So as long as that is a thing, we can't change that. It just won't change.
Young Thug told Gunna, if we go to jail and do life, we just do life. And then we try to figure out how to get out. What sense does that make? None. That's what sense it makes. That line of thought is something that only can exist in the mind of someone who is exceptionally immature and hooked, connected to their trauma. Money Mitch told you he loved the game, and then the game took his life. Gen Z doesn't want that, and I applaud y'all for it.
Man, I remember growing up, if you wasn't street or had some type of ties to like being hood or being street, you was a lame. People would really be like, bro, you ain't got no real struggle. People would really try to roast you because you rather not be in the streets. But I believe that Gen Z is growing up in a generation where there's so many other options of things that you can be, because they're able to see it all over the internet. There's so many different people other than yourself in a box of some type of street culture, especially when we're able to see the street culture in real time rather than just seeing the street culture in cool movies. We're able to see that these dudes do not actually follow their own rules. We're able to watch videos about prison and jail and realize that really ain't no cool place to be. While you over here rapping, talking about fresh out, free such and such, Gen Z does not want to repeat that.
The fact that the streets are being labeled as lame.
I asked ChatGPT, first thing, what has been the crime rate year over year since 2000? Obviously, I couldn't get it all directly, so I said, okay, let it go. And then it did spout out this though. The awareness data shows police recorded crime in England and Wales for year ending March 2003 was 6 million. Now, that is around the time when millennials were adults, right? So I did the one for my age group, which is nowadays, 2025. Most Gen Z are adults nowadays. and it is the exact same. So, and you know the reason why that's the case? I wonder. Oh yeah, because people haven't gotten any richer. That's why. Gen Z can't do much else, bro, other than complain and tell and say like, yeah, this is where it is, this is wrong, but nothing has changed since millennials have been adults, bro. On social media, yeah, you can say, oh yeah, it's way less cool to be a gangster, way less cool to be a fucking thug. But if you look at it reflected in the music, oh wait, people love it. You know, and people on Snapchat being going like, oh yeah, free my man, free him, free SK2 Trappy, whoever the fuck that's meant to be. You know, it's not changed. And the reason why that's not changed is because poor people haven't gotten any richer, rich people keep getting richer. Same story in history, the same fucking story. So no, nothing's changed, bro. It's just whatever you're reacting to is what you think. What you see is all there is. That's just how the human mind works. What you see is all there is. So if you only see people laming gangsters, then you're only gonna think people are just laming gangsters. But when you go to the facts, it's no change. And the only way that can change is if you start taxing the rich. Taxing the rich heavily. When that happens, then you'll see a lot less gang members. It's just true.
What? If only we had that patch method back then.
The patch method
was always deemed as cool. Being gangster, cool. Being tough, cool. Ruining people's days on a day-to-day basis, whether it's fighting or cursing people out or even bringing guns to school was considered cool. Now the fact that the great shift is happening, everything is changing. Being that kind of African-American male makes you a lame. Thank you. It's about damn time. I just can't wait for the music to finally start to catch up. The CIA has swept over and over and over again, and it looks like we just might make a 3-1 comeback. 3-1. Thank you, God. I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to have a.
You know what? I did that for the UK. Let's see that for America. This is something that surprised me. Even in the USA, it is different actually. Back in the year 2000, which is exactly when the crime rate was worse. Back in the year 2000, when you compare it to 2024, it actually has gotten better. Okay, well, I guess you can just discount everything I just said and just leave it to, oh, well, actually, no, you can't discount that. In America, yes. UK, no.
A lot of faith in the next generation of black kids.
See, it's not only black kids that perpetuate the street culture, though. There's a lot of kids in other races as well that perpetuate street culture. But I understand what he was trying to say. One of the most important things that he just said was that it was cool to bring a gun to school. It was cool to be bad when we were younger. See, this is the thing. The way I see the street culture is like cops and robbers. It's like a game of cops and robbers that never stopped being played. When we were kids, everybody was kind of into something a little dumb, you know, because we really didn't know right from wrong. So being a bad kid was no surprise because you're a kid that doesn't really know much. As you climb the ages and you never grow out of that cops and robbers game, you never grow out of this is my street and that's your street game. You find yourself playing the adult version of cops and robbers because you never actually matured to be able to introspect and say, what am I doing as an adult? I am repping this street. Okay, I rep this street, and then what? Like I said in my Red Pill video, then what? Like, what are you trying to be, the biggest street of the city? But you own nothing on the street. You really break down the logic of a lot of street culture and how they even got there. You will realize that these are a whole bunch of adults that never matured mentally and purely act off of emotion.
But before we get into that, I found a way that y'all could...
Don't you dare try to throw out at me, bro. Yeah. When it comes to people that stay in street culture, that's just a product of the environment. Like people who grew up in poor backgrounds, you're a product of your environment if you stay in that. You know, you never learn. And when the UK, in the UK especially, I think it's so much more different is you guys got a lot more money. You guys got a lot more money. You know, and that's down to being a bigger culture, more people to tax, more people to tax, more money, more funding. Which is something the UK can't really compete with, you know. I remember back in when I was like 11, 10, 12 even, the amount of knife crime funding that was going about was every flipping year. Every year, man. Right? But after that, after I was 11, when I turned 12, that shit stopped. So you wouldn't see that knife crime stuff anymore. All you'd see is that you go to Stratford and then you see like you know one of those people that come up to you in Stratford, the knife crime people. those are the only times where you see it. But you know, so every time when I do see them, I always end up giving up some money every time. Because if you don't try and give something to change, nothing will change. You know, and you know they got rid of a lot of youth clubs in the UK. Practically, there's none left. You know, I remember back in the day when I was 9, 10, I went to a youth club. It was only for the summer though, but either way, it was there. You know, it was there. Nowadays, all that's left is like YMCA. What else? Like when I was younger, there used to be like this what was it called again? Leighton Orient. There was like some Leighton Orient club. I don't know if it's still about. I hope it is. That was one of the most funnest times of my summer, bro. That was a great time, and I hope they bring that back because there was some bad niggas in there, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like there was this guy I knew back in the day. I'm not gonna say his name, but I could imagine nowadays he's probably on that shit now. Probably might be. He's probably on that gang shit right now, bro. And hey, maybe if there are more youth clubs out there every single year where they could go and actually do something of themselves, maybe something would have changed. One thing we definitely need in the UK a lot more of is most definitely more youth clubs. Most definitely more funding for giving people another option and teaching people how to function in the current climate that we live in. Because yes, it's very difficult in this life, very difficult in this country to make things work. You know, can't go from the bottom to the top because apprenticeships are gone, jobs are gone. You know, get a degree, everybody's got the same damn degree, so everybody's competing for the same job. People with more qualifications are literally taking lower paying jobs than their actual qualifications because they ain't available. So then what do? They take your job. Long. And yeah, man. You gotta get into the job subjects, the job fields that actually are paying and are actually abundant. Because that's the only way you're gonna be able to get out, bro. Real talk. And I know this from experience. I know this. I live here. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And yeah, bro, you gotta watch your children. That's another thing. You gotta blame the parents too, bro. You gotta blame the parents too, man. Like letting your child hang around these types of people, that's on you, man. You can't be letting your child just be around everybody and anybody. You should be at least equipping them to know, don't mess with these children, don't mess with these adults, don't mess with these people who are gonna manipulate you, groom you into their gang culture. Because once they're in, it's impossible to get out, man. It's impossible to get out for real, man. Like, and when I say that, I mean mentally it's hard to get out because you think there's no way out, but realistically there always is. There's always a way out. Always is, bro. But they are groomed into a way of thinking like, oh man, I can never leave. You always can. You always can. Don't ever think you can't, man. You just have to take the steps to where you don't have the time to be around these people. You know? And that takes going out of your way to go learn some skills. Going out of your way to go try and get a job go out of your way to have something to do. You know, that's my take on gang culture in the UK. That's my take on it. Love you, man.